Hello, everybody, to today's Commodities Corner, presented by myself at the Gold and Silver Club. So, guys, during today's session, it is a post-non-farm payroll analysis. We have lots to cover with you on today's webinar. We will be going through live market analysis. We'll go through a watch list of trading opportunities. We'll go through a forecast of where we expect gold, silver, oil to be heading next. We'll also have a look at the commodity currencies as well. We'll be answering and also, of course, providing live support. So let me introduce you to the Gold and Silver Club. Gold and Silver Club is regarded as the go-to authority on commodities trading, as internationally respected experts, analysis and our opinions on metals, the energies and the agriculture markets. They're keenly sought by major financial television channels and publications, which include Bloomberg, Riz, CNBC, the Financial Times, the Wall Street Journal. Our team of experts has trained thousands of traders from all over the world to invest in the financial markets with confidence using our exclusive strategies. For more information on the Gold and Silver Club and our expertise, please visit www.thegoldandsilverclub.com. Before we get into it and before we start going over to the charts, I'll talk you through the top movers that we've seen certainly over the last couple of hours following from non-farm payroll. So the non-payroll print has come out very much under expectations, and with that we did see the US dollar sell off. We also saw a breakout on gold, silver, and also a number of other currencies as well, Australian dollar, pound, US dollar as well. And I think we did see a breakout with gold too. Right as we're getting about an hour and a half into the session at the moment, now we're getting fully into the US session as well. We're starting to see a few retracements at the moment, which puts us in an interesting position here, potentially selling some of the rallies at the moment that we're starting to see. For example, US dollar CAD is a good example actually of a market which is retracing, and potentially will give us a better opportunity for a sell short. We've also seen some considerable moves here on oil over the last 24 hours. So oil yesterday broke up and so 3% to the upside. We've seen quite a lot of activity on the oil market, and gasoline prices breaking out to 2-year highs off the back of Hurricane Harvey, which has had a significant impact. It's taken out about a quarter of the refineries in the US, and that's had a big impact on gasoline prices, oil prices. We'll look at oil very shortly because oil continues to break out. Over the course of those couple of days, it was up 3%. Yesterday, Japanese yen, and it broke down off the back of the non-farm payrolls. It's retracing at the moment, and that's also been the case for US dollar, Canadian dollar as well. So we'll take a look at the price structure. Gold actually currently back at 1,318 US dollars per ounce. We're seeing a bit of a bid here for US dollar, Japanese yen, which has broken out above the 110 level. We'll have to look at that. Australian dollar pulling back a little bit as well. So we're seeing a lot of activity at the moment on the market. So with that, we'll move over to the charts very shortly. I'll just break it down for you in terms of today's non-farm payroll, what sort of impact that did have on market. So initially we saw a negative print today. So we've seen 100,000 jobs added versus 180,000, which was the expectation. So essentially quite a negative non-farm payroll headline number there. And we've also seen the average hourly earnings were negative, and the private non-farm payroll data was negative as well as the unemployment rate. So across the board, it's been a fairly negative non-farm payroll. At first, that created a lot of weakness in the US dollar. We did see a number of other market break out against that. But now we want to be assessing is the overall move that we'll see this afternoon, where we could start to see the real move after the knee-jerk reaction. What is a bit unusual today is that although the overall sentiment from the non-farm payrolls is negative, it's very much bearish for the US dollar. That was the case initially, so we got a knee-jerk reaction sell-off on the US dollar, but now seeing it retrace and asking to get a bid. And whenever we've got a disparity between the data fundamentals and the price, we want to be keeping a close eye on the price, because the price will actually tell us where we're going to see the price structure end up later on in the day. So we're seeing a few counter moves at the moment. So we'll move to the charts. I'll discuss that with you in more detail, and we'll look at some of the trade ideas as well as we head into the US session this afternoon. So essentially, when we're using the binary.com platform, we execute two types of trades, which are higher or lower. If we look at the price to be higher, we look at the level that we're entering. We want the price to be higher than that level close. So whether that is a 30-minute trade, a 1-hour trade, a 4-hour trade, a daily trade, whenever we're executing a trade like that, we essentially want the position to close higher within a certain time frame. If we're looking for the price to be lower, we execute a trade and we look for the to close lower within a specified time frame as well. Now, you can be looking at risk. It's completely up to you. You can be looking at anything from £5 risk, £50, £500, £5,000. All of it is up to you, depending on the size of your portfolio, how much you want to risk per trade. And it's all very transparent in terms of stake, which is being risked, and the potential payout on a trade as well. So if we have a look here, this is a deal ticket which I've got open at the moment. You can hear, for example, for the price to be higher over the next 5 hours, this is gold, of £5,000. If they're in my direction, I'll actually make 5,000 on the trade. If the trade does go in our direction, we would lose the stake on the trade, so which is in the red here, £2,843 and 26 pence. Okay, if we're looking for the price to be lower and we execute a trade, the entry there, £2,853 would be the stake on the trade. If we win the trade, we make 5,000. If we lose the trade, we lose the stake. So everything's really transparent. It's up front there. You know what your risk is on the trade. You're not going to lose more than you are reading on that particular position, and you can specify the exact amount that you wish to be paid out on the trade and the time frame, of course, as well. Okay, the way that we look to trade on binaries. So with that, we'll move over to charts. Also, sometimes some of you do need to go a little bit early, and I get some questions on this, so I'll just put that into the chat now for you guys, okay? So it's www.jointhegoldensilverclub.com. Okay, it is. So today, going through trade ideas, I'll talk you step by step through exactly what we're looking at. If you want access to this during the week as well, so you want daily live trade ideas with our exact entry, exit, our take profit at the Gold and Silver Club. If you want access to our private members academy, our live trading rooms during the week, and all of the mentoring and essentially private members academy, if you will have all of that, just maybe go across to www.jointhegoldensilverclub.com, and there are details there on how you can make an application. And I'll talk through a little bit more at the end, but I get questions on this, and that's how you can get access. Okay, fantastic. So let's get into it. Let's go over to the charts, guys. Let's see what's happening in the markets. Okay, so first of all, let me just bring over to my charts, and hopefully you'll be able to see this, okay, and we won't lose any sound. Okay, so let's just do that. Okay, and you can still see my charts okay, and you can hear me okay as well. Yep, fantastic. Thank you very much, Petri. Okay, super. Right, so first of all, I will give you just a bird's view of the market, where we're looking at a few different market-into-market correlations here at the moment. So on the left-hand side, I've got the US dollar index, which initially broke down today. It's getting supported at the moment, so it's forming a bit of a hammer here. The Japanese yen, which is well broke down initially, it's retraced, and now it's ebbing and flowing a little bit. Gold initially broke out off the back of the non-farm payroll data. Now it's pulling back with an inverse hammer on the daily chart. The Japanese yen futures, which also initially broke out, is pulling back at the moment. We've got the S&P 500, which surged earlier on in session, is pulling back. And we have Bitcoin on the right here, which we're monitoring because it's so close now to bring above 5,000. So I want to look at over the course of this as we continue to go with US session is where the main play is going to be now, where we're going to see the follow-through move. So one of the markets which I would definitely suggest from an in-market station that you want to have on your radar here is going to be US dollar, Canadian dollar. So I like US dollar, Canadian dollar at current levels around the 1.24 zone right now. It broke down, it broke through support earlier on today. It gave us a sell signal, a very clear sell signal on charts. Just yesterday, we can see here where we had the sell signal. We got into a sell position. We've closed one of our positions, prior to non-farm payroll, reopened another position. And you can see here it's broken through major support. The 1.24 zone is important for US dollar CAD. In fact, I'll just drop that down into lower time frames. Yeah, it's just about and holding above that level at the moment. But ultimately, this is a market which moves inversely the majority of the time to oil. Oil back to the upside 3% yesterday, had quite a significant surge, and is looking for more short-term downside here for US dollar, Canadian dollar, looking for the price to close lower between now and the end of the day. It initially broke down more significantly earlier on in session when we saw the knee-jerk reaction sell off, but all the price structure is bearish at the moment. You can see here where it has ultimately produced sell signal. It stayed within this downward trending channel. It's broken through major support, and we could really start to see this price structure tumble a lot more significantly over the course of the US session today. So this is a trade I've executed for a sell short. I like it at these levels. It's retraced about the 1.20 zone at the moment. So currently it's an opportunity for a retrace entry at the moment. So I like US Canadian dollar for a sell short. Maybe it will retrace a little bit higher today, but ultimately I'm looking for the potential for this market to roll over more significantly. I'll show you exactly what we're looking at on oil at the moment too. So both on Brent crude oil and also WTI crude oil, they broke out 3% yesterday, and we've seen quite a significant move to the upside off the back of the impact that Hurricane Harvey has had to refineries in the US, taking out a quarter of their refineries. We've quite a significant breakout yesterday, and now we're hovering around near towards the daily highs at the moment. I'm looking for oil to essentially take out the highs, break above today's high, and also break above the weekly highs here. You've got a lot of resistance. It's a level where it's to be expected to see some profit taking at this level, but we're holding a nice strong upward trending channel at the moment for oil. I like Brent crude oil for more upside. We've got the US oil recount coming out later on today, which is going to be in 3 hours. That could also provide further support for UK oil, and it's really looking to continue this momentum to the upside. So both Brent crude oil and also US oil, we are looking for more momentum here. So we've got US oil here at the moment, and I would look at WTI crude oil as well. If we can break above, it's continued to get good support at $47 per barrel, but if it can break above 48 US dollars per barrel, I would guess we've then got a much larger bull flag formation, and we could be up and running for a retest back towards the swing highs here, back at $50 US dollars per barrel, which would be approximately a $3 move from where WTI crude oil is trading at the moment. So I would look for the potential for a breakout here on WTI crude oil, especially if the oil recount later today shows us a further decline in the of oil rigs. That could provide a further catalyst for a breakout and follow through move. So trade ideas at the moment, number one would be a sell short opportunity on US dollar, Canadian dollar, looking for the price close lower by the close of today. So essentially within the next, I wouldn't time now, so within the next about 6 or 7 hours or so, I'm looking for US Canadian dollar to close lower. I'm looking for a breakout on Brent crude oil, so I'm looking for the price to close higher by the end of the day here as well, especially if we can take out yesterday's high. I think fundamentally, technically, and also geopolitically right now, that tends to support more upside at the moment for the price of Brent crude oil. So I'm looking for longer follow through here for oil. Now we'll move over to the currencies shortly. I also just want to go over and just discuss gold with you at these levels. Hasn't really had the follow through move that you would anticipate from the break that we had today. So initially spiked high and it's hit 1,328 US dollars per ounce. Now it's trading back at 1,317. I would suggest right now neutral gold just at this level. We had a long position on previously, which we've exited now, and around the current levels here for gold, waiting really. Possibly we may look to execute a fresh position on a retest back towards the lower end of this zone, so back towards around the 1300s to 1305 level. Not non-farm payrolls like this, you would expect more follow through. Gold has probably breached above some significant levels of resistance. It's broken out to 10-month highs, spiked up to 1,328 US dollars. I'm looking to be a buyer on pullback. So from a trade idea point of view, I like gold if it revisits the lower end of this trend channel and then reload, essentially, once it remains within an upward trend. It's short-term overbought. Traders are taking profit. The euro is retracing at the moment, and some pressure on gold. So looking for a pullback, come back towards the lower end of this channel, come back towards the 1300s, possibly even 1280, but I'd be looking to be a buyer on gold, providing it gets bid and gets support, but I'm looking to be a buyer on gold around the 1300s. But you can see at the moment gold giving back some of its gains. It's not full on breaking out at the moment. It's not really having the follow through move that you would expect. That could change later in the session. So I'm not ruling out that gold could return towards its strength, and it wouldn't take much for it to come back about another 100 points back up to 1328. But I suggest momentum is a little bit more bearish at the moment for gold around the upper end of this channel. So I'm waiting for gold ideally to come to me. So a trade idea is revisit 1300s, read at 1300s on support, and get back in for the next rally higher. So ultimately, that's what we're looking at for gold at the moment. Similar situation with silver. two. Over and have a look at some of the currencies as well. Feel free to ask any questions on these two. So ultimately, US dollar, Canadian dollar, I like for a sell short. Your Japanese yen, you can see around these levels at the moment. It's certainly getting a bit, hasn't really had the follow-through move to the downside here. It has broken out also of a full pattern. So it's broken out, and the initial knee-jerk reaction sell-off so far today hasn't really followed through. But again, this can change. It will depend on these dollars. So the US dollar right now is getting some support. It will probably back and fill today, but right now anyway, as of 3:15 London time, it's getting some support. I'm neutral. I would be neutral on the US dollar Japanese yen around 10.33 at the moment. It hasn't taken out the high of the inverse hammer. It could still turn around later on in the session and reverse. It is getting some underlying support here. It is a bit of a base here. It's broken and closed above the 21-day moving average, the 8-day exponential moving average as well. So getting some underlying support. Up the 110 handle, it's supported well. So waiting really on the dollar Japanese yen to see how this will play out. Japanese yen is on the verge also potentially breaking out, although again, if it was to reverse and break through those here from yesterday, we could see more downside, and I would suggest therefore it's a bear flag. But right now, neutral on pound Japanese yen. I want to see how this closes today, but it looks to be more of a bullish move. It's building up a bit of a base right now. If it broke through yesterday's low, then I would suggest that's a bear flag and we look for a selling pressure. But it's fine support right now. Japanese yen with weakness in Canadian dollar and also with breakout on oil. There's no surprise at all to see CAD Japanese yen doing well. We've had positions on this during the week, positions on CAD Japanese yen. It's continued to follow through. A nice price structure this week. And I see more upside on this market. Actually, I see another revisit of the 89 handle. I think it's got tested that today. So I like the overall price structure. Although it's a bit late to get in, it's already had the move so far on CAD Japanese yen. New Zealand dollar Japanese yen, not really doing too much. Potentially, if it's out yesterday's low, we'll see it break support and then follow through more significantly. So I would look at that. I don't think it's ready yet. It's been a muted move on this market, but if it breaks through support, maybe it breaks support later today, in which case I'd look at a sell short opportunity off a break of 78.70, look for a sell short, take back down towards 78 zone and take out the swing low from this week as well. So that's what I would look at on New Zealand dollar Japanese yen. Again, I like US dollar Canadian dollar here, just selling into retracements essentially at the moment. So I like that for more downside, although I would just be a little bit mindful of the US dollar strength at the moment. So whilst US dollar continues to ramp up, this will probably keep retracing. Once US dollar starts to roll over again, we'd likely see additional movement to the downside for US dollar CAD, but it looks to have really taken out some major levels here. Now it's broken through the 1.24 handle. We could really start to see this build momentum to the downside, unless the price structure can completely change and it closes with a really strong rejection candle by the end of the day, taking it back above the 125 handle, which I think is extremely unlikely, but there is a potential for that if it was to really a significant bid, but I think it's likely it will continue to roll over. And looking for a retrace entry, the higher it goes, the better it is for a retrace entry at the moment. So watching this also strength on Brent crude oil or WTI crude oil would likely also provide additional downside for this market. So to a certain degree, we need to see some strength on oil to help this move lower. Earlier on about euro, US dollar as well. What do we think about this market? Yeah, initially it broke out. You can see here where it surged above the previous day's high. It's forming an inverse hammer at the moment. Euro USD is quite heavily weighted into the US dollar index, so it's inverse move essentially. So US dollar index is getting a bid. Euro US dollar is currently forming a rejection candle. It's early in the day now, so we've still got about another 7 hours until the close. A lot can change. At the moment, I'm neutral on this. I wouldn't be looking for a buy or a sell, waiting really for a better confirmed move here. Pound did get a breakout earlier on today, but it's not really doing too much. It's continuing to hesitate. Australian dollar, US dollar, I like this still for a long. I would actually say this is a good retrace entry. Alongside US dollar CAD and long on oil, I'd say this is one of the top trades for the day today. Once it holds above yesterday's high and also the lows of this trend channel, it's retested the lower end of this channel over the course of the session today, found support, got currently around the 0.795 zone here. It's been ricocheting between support and resistance all week. You see it has struggled a bit here again, just below the below the 0.8 handle. It had resistance there again, and it's not been able to follow through. But I expect this will build up a little bit more momentum to the upside later on in the session. I don't expect it to full-on break down, so I quite like it for a retrace entry here, 0.795 for the price to close lower by the end of today, and also build some momentum as we go into next week as well. It's remaining above all the main levels that I want it to. It's above all the key moving averages that we track. Overall trend is up and an upward trend at the moment. It's under a bit of pressure right now because of US dollar strength short term. US dollar Japanese yen starting to sell off again on lower time frames here. So we back and fill. We see this a lot on non-farm payrolls. Here's an inverse hammer on the 30-minute developing. So it's early days at the moment, guys. We're only getting started in the US session now, so we could see a lot more momentum this afternoon. So Canadian dollar, I'm going to look sell into strength, sell into rallies. On dollar, US dollar, I'll look to buy on pullbacks, providing it continues to hold up, as I'll be just adding into that, scaling into positions as it pulls back and then provide holds underlying support there. I like oil for more upside as well. New Zealand dollar, US dollar looks a bit weak here at the moment. It's not had too much movement. It may set up for an additional trade opportunity next week. We've been selling this market this week. It has struggled to break out of the overhead trend channel. Quite a lot of overhead resistance at the moment for this market right now. Euro pound actually started to break down. Euro weakness is starting to see this market particularly could start to turn into a more significant off. So for those of you who might track euro pound, we've actually just broken through a major underlying trend channel. We'll see if that follows through more significantly today. I would look to see if it can break the monthly pivot at 0.914. If it can do that and close below the 21-day moving average, there's quite a lot of clean air for euro pound here. So I would look at that as well for a potential sell short opportunity. Euro CAD has tanked as well, which is interesting, alongside US dollar Canadian dollar as well. So it's been interesting to see it break through major support. That's not bad for a sell short. And Australian dollar Canadian dollar also. So across the board here, that's not bad actually as well from a in terms of amount of points. It's moved about 130 pips to the downside in the last couple of days. I would suggest CAD weakness. Well, only but the way it's priced in other markets, we would look for it to be stronger than Australian dollar and therefore break down, stronger than euro US dollar and therefore break down. So overall, CAD looks ripe for a more significant move lower. Let's have a look at my US dollar CAD. Yeah, I quite like it. The US dollar Canadian dollar can retrace today, the better really, because then we'll just get a better retrace entry on that. So I quite like that for additional slide. It is possible that it might retrace early next week as well, possibly revisit the upper end of this trend channel and then revert again. But whilst it's below some of these key indicators at the moment, I just like it for retrace sell. At the moment, we should really be as high as we are with the US dollar from a fundamental point of view. We have to respect the price action in the market right now, but it could change this afternoon. But the US dollar doesn't really have any reason to be a bid around these levels right now. So we'll see what sort of follow through that we get later this afternoon. S&P 500 has staged quite a significant rally back. I wouldn't actually be that surprised to potentially see later on in the session gold revisit the daily highs. If it holds around here, you can see this overhead trend channel it's broken above. If it only has a shallow pullback back to about 13.16, to actually turn around by the end of today and produce, because this is early days again, it could turn around and produce a hammer and start to look to break out back towards the 1350 level. So I would look out for that possibility on gold. So for those of you who do like trading gold, there's a little bit of a 4-hour hammer developing at the moment. I would suggest, of course, that inverse hammer actually as well. The weekly pivot is holding it at 13.16. If it snaps below the weekly pivot, it could revisit 13.05. If it holds around this level, it might be good for a buy. Look for the price to be higher, but I'll be tracking that market as well at the moment. And also Bitcoin has had an incredible run. So Bitcoin is now trading, it counts to 4,800 today. It's only $200 below 5,000. To give you some perspective, this last year, Bitcoin was trading at approximately 500 US dollars, okay? And it's now trading at 4,800 or just below. At the beginning of the year, Bitcoin was trading at $1,000. It's up over 400% so far this year. So incredible moves on Bitcoin. Also tends to move well when we see geopolitical risk, as we saw earlier on this week with North Korea. It got quite a significant, and it also tends to move well off non-farm payrolls where the US dollar weakens, and that's what we've seen certainly today. So I'd also have that on your radar for those of you who are trading it, particularly those in the Asia Pacific who are trading it on binary, although it's not available for all European clients at the moment on binary, but those of you who are in Asia Pacific can trade it. Okay, fantastic. Right, so let's just have a look. So with that, I'll just give you a quick summary, guys, again, of looking at overall. So let's just take it into the bird's eye view again, just so we can see really where the intermarket correlations are taking the market right now. The sentiment is at the moment. So overall sentiment will change, by the way, of course, but as of 3:30 London time, sentiment right now is we are getting a bid on the US dollar. It's getting supported. We're getting a bid on the US dollar, Japanese yen. Gold right now is retracing off the daily highs and it's pulling back, but overall it's bullish overall. Japanese yen futures pulled back, but it's getting a little bit of a retracement. Bitcoin has broken out to all-time highs again today. US equities are up as well. The trades which I'm looking at is selling to retracements here on US dollar, Canadian dollar. I'm going to execute another sell on this after this webinar for this retracement entry. I like that for a sell. Reading on Australian dollar, US dollar at these levels for a buy. I like that for a buy around the current levels as well. So those are the two top trades I'm looking at, and I'm already long oil, but you can look at oil as well. So you might need to be quick actually on US dollar, Canadian dollar. Look at the wow, it's starting to of a retracement and a move back down again. Actually, you can see this little inverse hammer developing. So I'll look to load on that shortly. So I hope that helps, guys. Just give you some clarity on what we are looking to do. Well, if you would like to take your trading to the next level and get access to our daily live trade ideas, analyzed, we shared with you directly, ready to implement for instant results, you can access via www.jointhegoldensilverclub.com. If you make an application, we'll be in touch with you ASAP. As a member of that, you get access to the following. So you get to be a member of the private members live trading room and our academy. And with that, you get access to our live trading rooms during the week where we analyze the markets right in front of you, going through our exact entry, exit, our take profit on each of our trades that we are taking. You get sent that real-time trade alerts via email and SMS, so you don't miss out on any opportunities in the markets. You can get the best price. We provide you with our trading research and our market insights to make sure that you're able to keep on top of the best search available, well equipped with the most accurate technical and fundamental information you need to identify market trends early, predict future price movements, and act on trading decisions with confidence. So the private members live trading room includes access to our live trading room webinars. You get live trade ideas shared with you, ready to implement for instant results, real-time trade alerts via email and SMS. So you're knocking out on trade opportunities, details of where to enter, exit each trade. So we share the exact entry, exit levels on each position. You get access to our private members live trading room, ongoing support and mentoring to help you achieve long-term success, and exclusive access to our proprietary trading research to give you the ultimate edge in the market. So again, to access to that, to the private members live trading room, go to www.jointhegoldensilverclub.com, complete the application form, and we will get in touch with you ASAP. And I'll put a link there in the chat as well. Oh, fantastic. So with that, guys, really look forward to hear from those of you who will be in application to join us at the Gold and Silver Club. I wish you all a fantastic day. Good trading, guys, and we'll speak to you on the next one. Okay, all the best, guys. Thank you very much. And thank you to Putri for putting on to the session. Great, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.